Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whenever you are watching this, welcome to Mentor Mornings. So I want to ask you a question. Have you felt demoralized? Have you felt like everything is coming apart at the seams? Have you felt like we have landed ourselves in middle of a crisis? And have you heard things like this is the new normal? Do you think that all of this is by accident? So there was this guy in the 1980s whose name was Yuri Bezmenov, and he was a KGB propaganda expert and a Soviet defector, and he came to America as a journalist. And he shared 4 stages of how a country was taken over, the 4 stages that was used in Soviet Russia. And he said that the first stage was demoralization. It's where you educate an entire population or an entire generation in the ideology that you want to use in that new country. In Soviet Russia's case, it was Marxist ideology. And so we think about like my my generation, when we went through school, and you think about how the education has changed. Like the education today that's being taught to kids is vastly different than even the education that I experienced going through the United States public education system. And my education was vastly different than my father's education. And so we've seen this gradual trend. You know, I just got a book about United States geology and history, and it was published in the late 1940s. It is very different than what I even learned going to school. So you think about that. So an entire generation is educated with this new ideology that they want to put in place or they want to use. The next stage, he said the second stage is destabilization. It's you create a weakness inside this country by destabilizing things like the current economy, foreign relations, and the defense systems. So you create this weak link, these weak links inside of the chain where any amount of pressure can expose those weaknesses and create havoc. So the first stage, demoralization. The second stage is destabilization. He said the third stage is crisis. And at the point that we are recording this video, that you and I are talking, like, if you look at us, not just as United States, but globally, we are and have been in a state of crisis, and that crisis is going to continue moving forward. And we'll get into that. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But so crisis is a violent power change in the structure, the economy, and who is pulling the shots. And then the fourth one, by the way, guys, if you're watching this, please hit that thumbs up button. Let people know that this is worth watching. If you aren't subscribed, do so. And if you feel that this content is valuable, please share. Please share. The fourth stage that he talks about. So first, demoralization, destabilization, crisis. The last stage is normalization. So that's where we enter into a period of normality, only until the next crisis begins. So let's hold up and talk about this. We have experienced crisis. Now, when you listen to mass media today, have you heard the phrase, this is the new normal? And when you think about how often do you hear that, this is the new normal? I just saw a post yesterday from our governor, this is the new normal at the top. So we have governors who are spouting this off, that this is the new normal. We have mass media in almost every article, this is the new normal. How is this the new normal? Are we going to accept what they're saying as this is the new normal? Because if we accept it, then we make it so. It's a done deal, guys. Is this the way we want to live our lives? Is this what we're going to accept as how we're going to move forward? Is this the world that we want to leave for our children? I personally don't want that. So Will Rogers says, it isn't what we don't know that gives us trouble. It's what we know that ain't so. So when we look at the propaganda efforts of Hitler, that was his greatest tool, was the fact that he could disseminate the information that he wanted to the general population and instill beliefs and perceptions inside of the people that lived within his reach. We look at the propaganda machine of today and the power that it has, it is massive. It is massive. And so our belief systems, our perceptions are being engineered and controlled. And it's only a conscious mind that will filter the information that's coming. If you're watching this, I assume that you are probably very conscious and you see through, you pierce through what they're doing. And so where are the honest voices that are coming today? Who is speaking about resurrecting hope? Who is speaking about creating prosperity? You know, and the biggest question is, can we trust what they're saying? Is there an agenda? Is there a motive behind that? Charles Dickens says, I have known a vast quantity of nonsense talked about bad men not looking you in the face. So what he's saying there is a lot of people say that dishonest people, bad people, they won't look you in the eye when they're talking. He goes on to say, don't trust that conventional idea. Dishonesty will stare you out of countenance any day of the week if there's anything to be got by it. So what he's saying is that dishonesty, the people who are trying to manipulate, the people who are trying to get something, they will come across as some of the most honest people in your life. And I have experienced that personally. I have lost my ass because of trusting the wrong people. Because they were very good at looking me dead in the eye with a smile saying, I'm here to help you, Nate. Have you experienced that? So it's obvious today that games are being played, not just on like a nation level, but on a global scale. Games are being played. And during this upheaval, like, we have to manage ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves because we either have ourselves to take care of or we have families that depend on us. And so there's an African proverb that says, by his deeds, we know a man. And so when we're looking out into the world today and we see all of this chaos, all of this confusion, all of the propaganda efforts that are being pushed, everybody has an agenda that they're trying to create and they're trying to push. How do we know what we can trust and what we can't? And this African proverb says it right there. By his deeds, we know a man. So look at the actions. What are the actions? Anybody can speak about whatever they want. They can cast magic over you with their words, rhetoric. If they throw this stuff out there and we just soak it up, we're gonna be taken advantage of. So look at the deeds, the core actions. I guess if I were to sum this whole thing up, what would I say? I'd say don't be swayed by headlines. Don't be swayed by social media. Don't be swayed by a friend's opinion. Look for the deeds and actions and judge by those only. The rest of it is a masquerade. It's a puppet show on a scale that we are all watching, and it's being force-fed down our throats. And it's up to us, for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our communities, for our society, for humanity at large. It's up to us today. This isn't just a small-scale battle, guys. This is a battle for our future. This is a battle of good against evil. This is a battle for, like, the freedom inside of us. We got this. All right, guys. Until tomorrow. Peace.